This episode is a 2019 year in review roundup from SOMBA students and Mastermind members. I'm very proud of my Mastermind members and SOMBA students, and they have achieved so many amazing breakthroughs in 2019. I asked them to share their review. Repeat. I'm very proud of my Mastermind members and SOMBA students who have achieved many breakthroughs in 2019. I asked them to share their year in review blog posts within our community, and in turn, I want to share these with you. In the show notes of this episode, you're going to find links to all the amazing women and one man who did take the time to write a year in review blog post. And I'm going to share little snippets from each person in this episode. First up is lifestyle coach Miguela Shahiner, who created an online course during SOMBA Kickstart program and with her upsell made her money back that she invested within 3 months. She was one of the 3 women that we awarded for having great success in the SOMBA Kickstart program. You can read her full review in German through the show notes. Then we have personal stylist Ingrid Angen de Wolf, who decided to invest in herself and signed up for SOMBA. After having worked with her clients one-on-one, she developed her first online course. SOMBA gave her the community she needed to exchange ideas, advice, and support. She ended up working with 1,030 women in 2019. You can read her full review in German by going to the show notes. Then we have life coach Daniela Persicke, who moved back to Germany after 6 years in Barcelona. She learned how to deal with stress, worked on her mindset, and drew strength from the SOMBA community. You can read her full review in German by going to the show notes. Michelle Petit decided that 2019 was going to be the year in which she put herself out there and started her online business in interior design. SOMBA helped her overcome her negative beliefs and follow a new dream, quitting her corporate job and fully living off her online business. You can read her full review in English by going through the show notes. During SOMBA Summer School, content coach Judith Peters made her online course about sending out the best newsletters and had 200 signups. It was such a success that she went on to use the course to complete her signature program. You can read her full review in German by going through the show notes. 2019 was a year of masterminding for hypnotherapist and art life coach Jen Ragazzo Chase. She learned to become more visible, to invest in herself, and even became a SOMBA mentor. You can read her full review in English by going to the show notes. Personal brand specialist Ann Retter became a SOMBA mentor too. She ran her first VIP group coaching program and created a new program that combines masterminding and co-working. She came second out of 400 participants for an award celebrating self-employment and small business in Germany. You can read her full review in German by going through the show notes. First official SOMBA coach, Anke Behren, doubled her revenue as a Mastermind mentor in 2019. She took part in 3 SOMBA launches as an affiliate and sold out 3 of her own group coaching programs. You can read her full review in German by going to the show notes. Lucy Eckley, personal brand story expert, announced in front of 450 people that she will start her own podcast by March 2020. She ran her first group workshop and online course with over 20 active participants. You can read her full review in English by going through the show notes. Transformational coach Viola Heller ran 2 online courses, wrote her first blog post, and learned how to come out of her comfort zone. She found a new home and took up her old passion, dancing. You can read her full review in German by going to the show notes. Style coach Elke Puls helped 25 women find their ideal colors, had 200 participants in her online course, recorded 33 episodes of her podcast, and grew her team to 4 people. You can read her full review in German by going to the show notes. In 2019, clarity coach Dolores Andrew Gavin was searching for her own clarity. SOMBA Summer School helped her to focus and create her best ever online course. You can read her full review in English by going to the show notes. Diana Scharfenberg traveled through Europe with her husband and daughter for 6 months while growing her online business around healthy living. She published her first book in May, ranking on 2 bestseller lists on Amazon and tripled her revenue, all while expecting her second child. You can read her review in German by going to the show notes. Artist Heather Matthew traveled to Iceland to undertake an artist residency and created her first online course. She got clear on her mission to take creativity to a larger audience and overcame her insecurities. You can read her year in review by going to the show notes. Lena Bush reached 6 figures helping mothers realize their businesses, retired her husband, and recorded 20 episodes for her new podcast. You can read her review in German by going through the show notes. Mama Be Wild is Julia Mac Amantidis' motto by which she fully lived in 2019. She became a mother for the 4th time, learned all about setting up a newsletter and using social media to promote her mother coaching business in SOMBA Summer School, and created her own online course with 78 participants. You can read her year in review in German by going to the show notes. Content coach Ina Meves launched her podcast and did a makeover of her website. One of her blog posts ranked on the 1st position on Google. She decided to invest in herself and learn how to say no. You can read her year in review in German by going to the show notes. Music coach Maria Busk learned how to get more visibility through social media and sold out 3-day retreat for musicians. You can read her review in German by going to the show notes. Business coach Joe Bentley signed up for a 12-month mastermind for the first time and went through a big mindset shift. She spoke on 2 international stages, hosted workshops and VIP days around the world, and ran a retreat herself. You can read her review in English by going to the show notes. Eva Peters helps her clients take their business ideas online. She turned her online workshop into a group program and is running it for the 10th time in January 2020. She launched her podcast, started a Facebook group, and gave 13 webinars. You can read her year in review in German by going to the show notes. Dance professor Gudrun Malberg made an effort to gain visibility through social media and was found by clients through Instagram and YouTube, got her first VIP client, and performed on a stage for the first time after 12 years. Read her full review in English by going to the show notes. 2019 was all about public speaking for coach and mediator Leila Okai. She was a podcast guest on 2 key podcasts, which inspired her to create her own podcast. She also got invited as a guest speaker for ACES and a keynote speaker for the University College of London and won 2 awards. You can read her year in review in English by going to the show notes. Communication coach Manuela Festi created her first online course and because of the positive feedback went on to offer a group program. You can read her year in review in German by going to the show notes. Life coach Gudrun Otten created her first online course with 21 subscribers, became a grandmother to a second grandchild, and figured out the perfect name for her podcast and launched it with 17 episodes. You can read her review in German by going to the show notes. Jane Schmidt created an online course, went live on Facebook, held a webinar, and got great feedback from her 70 course participants. August became the first month in which she could fully live from her online business as a content and SEO coach. You can read her year in review in German by going to the show notes. Martin Meza, the one man on our list today, ran his online coaching business while being on a road trip from Dubai to Germany and planning his family's move back to Germany. He grew his email list from 0 to over 600 and created 4 online courses with over 100 video tutorials. You can read his full review in English by going to the show notes. SOMBA Summer School winner Lena Kustner went from 0 subscribers to over 10,000 euro in revenue in only 8 weeks. She started selling her coaching packages, helping people to brand their businesses, was able to quit her job, and got invited as a speaker for an online summit. You can read her year in review in German by going to the show notes. SOMBA Summer School, Marketing project leader Angelique Dujic decided to build up her own online coaching business around team building from zero, created her first online course, and started blogging. You can read her full review in German by going to the show notes. Empowerment coach Olga Hommerink joined a speaker workshop, overcame her fear of public speaking, and spoke to 1,000 people from stage. She contributed chapters to 2 different books and will publish her own book in 2020. You can read her year in review in German by going through the show notes. Carola Epple decided to take her startup business online and started offering behavioral therapists virtual reality videos to treat their patients. She launched her first online course during SOMBA Kickstart, held a webinar, and got 15 clients. You can read her year in review in German by going through the show notes. Sunray Dolase helps her clients clean up and organize their lives, developed an online course, and helped 94 subscribers to manage their time differently. She published her own best-selling ebook and created a brand new sales page. You can read her year in review in German by going to the show notes. Website design expert Daniela Retzel launched her ebook, overcame her fear of live videos, and got invited as a guest in a podcast. She developed a brand new online course with 90 participants. You can read her year in review in German by going through the show notes. Tanya Francisco was working as a teacher but didn't feel fulfilled. Through SOMBA Summer School, she started her own online business, created her first online course with 19 participants, and realized her lifelong dream of buying a motorcycle. You can read her year in review in German by going to the show notes. Birgit Nora Schäfer quit her job and suffered the loss of her mother, but kept believing in her dream of accompanying people affected by heart attack on a psychological level. She found great support in the SOMBA community and turned her online course into one-on-one coaching. You can read her year in review in German by going through the show notes. Nutritionist Claudia Nichtel opened up the doors to her own online academy for nutrition and health and immediately sold out her main program, a 12-month course. Today she says she has finally arrived where she wanted to be. You can read her full review in German by going through the show notes. Journalist and a communication coach Christina Teutorn-Moore decided to help women realize their dreams online. She found her first one-on-one clients and is planning her first online conference. You can read her year in review in German by going through the show notes. Iris Singh helps women find their story and use storytelling for their business. She switched from just providing content in her Facebook Live to doing video interviews, had 5 launches, and made 5 times more revenue compared to the previous year. You can read her year in review in German by going through the show notes. Agnieszka Gakowska learned that taking off with her online crocheting business and having time to spend with her family was due to one important skill she learned in 2019: delegate tasks. She also became a mother for the 3rd time. You can read her year in review in Polish by going to the show notes. Thank you for listening to The Sigrun Show. Did you enjoy this episode? Let me know that you listened by tagging me in your Insta story or Instagram post using my handle Sigrun.com and the hashtag Sigrun Show. See you in the next episode.